I heard the water running at 2 in the morning and knew she was crying again. This was the 4th night in a row, maybe the 5th. I'd lost count somewhere around the 2nd week. Sarah always thought I was asleep, that I couldn't hear her soft sobs mixing with the sound of the shower, but I could. Every single night, I lay there in our bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to my wife fall apart in the bathroom, and I told myself it was work, just work. The promotion she was chasing, the demanding boss, the long hours, stress. That's all it was. It had to be. We'd been married for 9 years, 9 mostly good years. We'd met in college, dated for 3 years before I proposed, got married in a small ceremony by the lake where we'd had our first real conversation about the future. Sarah had wanted kids right away. I'd wanted to wait, build our careers first, make sure we were stable. She'd agreed, though I could see the disappointment in her eyes every time one of her friends announced a pregnancy. But she'd agreed, and we'd focused on work, on building our life, on the someday that always seemed just out of reach. Then 6 months ago, something changed. Sarah got promoted to senior account manager at her advertising firm. It was everything she'd worked for, everything she deserved. I took her to her favorite restaurant to celebrate. We drank expensive wine and talked about how this was the beginning, how everything was finally coming together. She smiled, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. I noticed, but didn't say anything. I thought she was just tired. The new position meant longer hours, more responsibility, more pressure. That's when the shower crying started. The first time I heard it, I got up to check on her. Stood outside the bathroom door with my hand raised to knock, but something stopped me. Maybe it was the intimacy of her grief, how private it sounded. Maybe I was just a coward. I went back to bed and waited for her to come out. She did, eventually. With wet hair and red eyes she thought I couldn't see in the dark. She climbed into bed next to me and I pretended to be asleep. Felt her curl into a ball on her side. Felt the space between us that hadn't been there before. Just work, I told myself. She's just adjusting to the new role. But the crying continued. Night after night, 2 a.m., like clockwork. I'd hear her slip out of bed, hear the bathroom door close softly, hear the water start. And I'd lie there, paralyzed, telling myself that if I just gave her space, if I just let her process whatever this was, she'd eventually talk to me. She'd tell me what was wrong, and I'd help her fix it. That's what we did. We fixed things together. Except we didn't, did we? Because I wasn't actually asking. I was just waiting, hoping, avoiding. During the day, Sarah was functional, almost normal. She'd get up, get ready for work, drink her coffee while scrolling through her phone. We'd exchange the usual morning pleasantries. Sleep well? Fine, you? Yeah, fine. Lies wrapped in routine. She'd kiss me on the cheek before leaving, her lips cold and quick. Nothing like the long goodbye kisses we used to share. Then she'd be gone, sometimes not coming home until 8 or 9 at night, always with an explanation. Client dinner, strategy meeting, deadline. I believed her, because what else was I supposed to do? How's the new job? I'd ask over reheated takeout. Demanding, she'd say, pushing food around her plate. But good, I think. You think? I mean, it's what I wanted. Is it? She'd look at me then, really look at me, and I'd see something in her eyes. Something like desperation, or maybe guilt, but before I could figure out which, she'd look away and change the subject. How's your project going? The Henderson account? And I'd let her change the subject because I was a coward. My best friend Mike noticed before I admitted it to myself. We met for drinks on a Thursday after work, something we did every few weeks. I must have seemed off because halfway through his second beer, he said, "You look like shit, man. Everything okay?" "Yeah, fine. Just tired." "How's Sarah?" "She's good. Busy with the new job." "That's good though, right? The promotion she wanted?" "Yeah, really good." Mike studied me over his beer. We'd been friends since high school. He knew when I was lying. "Dave, come on. What's really going on?" I started to give him the standard answer, the one I'd been telling myself, but something broke. Maybe it was the beer. Maybe it was the exhaustion from all those sleepless nights. She cries in the shower every night at 2 a.m., and I don't know why. Mike set down his beer. Every night? For weeks now, months maybe. Have you asked her about it? No. Why not? Because I'm afraid of the answer. He was quiet for a moment, then, Dave, you know what that sounds like, right? It's work stress. She's just adjusting to the new position. For months? She has a demanding boss, Marcus something. She mentions him sometimes. How often is sometimes? I thought about it, realized I couldn't remember the last conversation Sarah and I had where Marcus's name didn't come up. Often, I guess. And she's working late most nights? Yeah. Coming home different? What do you mean? I don't know, man. Distant, guilty, like she's somewhere else even when she's with you. My stomach dropped. You think she's cheating? I think you need to ask her what's going on before you drive yourself crazy with assumptions. But I didn't ask. I went home that night and found Sarah already in bed facing the wall. I undressed quietly and lay down beside her. Reached out to touch her shoulder but stopped before making contact. The space between us felt insurmountable. Sarah? I whispered. She didn't respond. I couldn't tell if she was asleep or pretending. At 2 a.m., I heard her get up, heard the bathroom door close, heard the water start. This time, I got out of bed, stood outside the bathroom door with my hand on the knob. I could hear her crying, soft and broken, the sound of someone who thought they were alone. I opened the door. She didn't hear me at first over the sound of the water. She was sitting in the shower, knees pulled to her chest, water streaming over her, fully clothed in her pajamas. When she finally looked up and saw me standing there, her face went through a series of emotions. Surprise, fear, something else I couldn't name. Dave. She tried to compose herself, wiping at her face like she could pretend this wasn't happening. I didn't hear you. I couldn't sleep. I thought a shower might help. You're wearing your pajamas. She looked down at herself as if just noticing. Oh, yeah. I wasn't thinking. I sat down on the bathroom floor, still in my boxers and t-shirt. Sarah, what's going on? Nothing. I'm fine. You're sitting in the shower fully clothed at 2 a.m, crying. That's not fine. It's just work. I told you, the new position is don't. The word came out harder than I intended. Please don't lie to me right now. We've been married 9 years. I know when something is wrong. She turned off the water, sat there dripping, shivering slightly, looking at me with those eyes that had once looked at me with so much love and now just looked tired. I can't do this right now. Can't do what? This conversation. I'm not ready. How long do you need? Because I've been waiting for you to be ready for months now. I've been lying in bed listening to you cry, night after night, telling myself it's work stress, that you'll tell me when you're ready. But you're not getting ready, Sarah. You're getting worse. She started crying again, properly this time, her whole body shaking with sobs. I wanted to go to her, to hold her, but something kept me on the floor. Some instinct that if I moved, if I comforted her, she'd find a way to avoid this conversation again. I'm so sorry, she managed between sobs. God, Dave, I'm so sorry. Those words, those 3 words, I felt them land in my chest like stones. Because you don't apologize like that for work stress. You don't cry in the shower every night at 2 a.m. because your boss is demanding. You apologize like that for something else entirely. What did you do? My voice sounded strange, distant, like it belonged to someone else. She couldn't look at me. It's not what you think. What do I think? That I'm having an affair. Are you? The silence stretched between us. I counted my heartbeats. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20. Yes, she finally whispered. Yes, I am. The world didn't end. That's what surprised me most. I thought hearing those words would destroy me, would make me scream or cry or rage, but instead I just felt numb, like I was watching this happen to someone else. How long? 5 months. 5 months. Since just after her promotion. Marcus. She looked up sharply. How did you know? I didn't. Not really. But I should have. You talk about him constantly. You're always working late. You come home different. I laughed, but it sounded wrong. My best friend figured it out in one conversation. I've been living with you, watching you fall apart, and I convinced myself it was work stress. I tried to end it, she said quickly. So many times. That's why I've been crying. I hate myself. I hate what I've done. I hate what I'm doing to you. But I can't seem to stop. Do you love him? Another long pause. I don't know. Maybe. I love you too, though. I still love you, Dave. That's the worst part. I love you, and I'm still doing this to you. How does that work exactly? How do you love someone and betray them every single day for 5 months? I don't know. I don't know how I got here. It started so innocently. We were working late on a campaign. He was funny and kind, and he listened when I talked about things. What things? What things? She hugged her knees tighter. Things I should have talked to you about wanting kids, about feeling like my life was passing me by, about being scared we'd wake up one day and realize we'd waited too long for everything. The words hit me hard. You never said any of that. I tried. You always said, someday. Someday we'd have kids. Someday we'd buy a bigger house. Someday we'd take that trip to Italy we always talked about. But someday kept getting further away, and I felt like I was drowning in waiting. So you fucked your boss. She flinched. It wasn't like that. At first, it was just talking. Then it was lunches. Then dinners. Then one night we were working late and he kissed me, and I kissed him back. And I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't stop myself. I felt like myself again. Like someone who mattered. Like someone who was wanted. Right now, not someday. I stood up. I couldn't sit there anymore. I need you to leave. What? Get out of the shower. Pack a bag. Go stay with your sister or your parents or Marcus for all I care. But I need you to not be here right now. Dave, please. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to throw things or call you names. But I can't look at you right now. I can't sleep next to you tonight knowing that for 5 months you've been with him. So please, just go. She got out of the shower, dripping and shaking, looked at me like she wanted to say something else, but couldn't find the words. Then she left the bathroom. I heard her moving around the bedroom, heard the closet open and close, heard the zipper of a suitcase. 20 minutes later, I heard the front door close. I was alone in our house, in our bathroom, in the life we'd built together that had just fallen apart in the space of a conversation. I sat on the floor where I'd been sitting, and I waited for the tears to come, but they didn't. I just felt empty, hollowed out, like someone had reached inside and removed something essential. I called in sick to work the next day, and the day after that. Spent those days lying on the couch, staring at the ceiling, trying to process what had happened. Sarah texted me constantly, asking if we could talk, saying she was sorry, saying she'd ended it with Marcus, that she wanted to fix this, that she'd do anything. I didn't respond. I didn't know how. Mike came over on the 3rd day, let himself in with the spare key we'd given him years ago, found me on the couch in the same clothes I'd been wearing since Sarah left. Jesus, Dave. Hey, have you eaten? Not hungry. Have you showered? What's the point? He sat down in the chair across from me. She told me, called me yesterday, said you wouldn't answer her calls and she was worried about you. She's worried about me. That's rich. I'm not defending her. What she did was shitty, but starving yourself on the couch isn't going to fix anything. What is going to fix it? I don't know, man, but this isn't it. He ordered pizza, made me eat 3 slices, forced me to shower while he changed the sheets on the bed, brought me clean clothes, sat with me while I fell apart in a way I hadn't allowed myself to when Sarah was there. I should have known, I said. All the signs were there. I just didn't want to see them. That's not your fault, isn't it? What kind of husband doesn't notice his wife is having an affair for 5 months? The kind who trusts his wife. That's not a character flaw, Dave. That's called being in a marriage. A marriage she destroyed. Yeah, she did, but you didn't. Remember that. Sarah kept texting. I finally responded on day 5. I need space. Please stop contacting me. For how long? She wrote back immediately. I don't know. I love you. I'm so sorry. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm begging you to let me try to fix this. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I turned off my phone. I went back to work after a week. People asked where I'd been. I told them I'd had the flu. They seemed to believe me, or at least pretended to. I threw myself into work, staying late, taking on extra projects, anything to avoid going home to the empty house that still smelled like Sarah's perfume, and still had her coffee mug in the sink, and still felt like hours even though it wasn't anymore. 3 weeks after Sarah left, she showed up at my office. My secretary didn't stop her. She walked right into my office and closed the door behind her, and I looked up from my computer to see my wife standing there, looking like she'd aged 10 years in 3 weeks. You can't ignore me forever, she said. I can try. Dave, please. We need to talk about this. About what happens next. About whether there's any chance. There isn't. She looked like I'd slapped her. You don't mean that. I do. You made your choice. For 5 months, you made the same choice over and over again. You chose him. You chose lying to me. You chose crying in the shower instead of talking to me. Those were your choices. I made terrible choices, I know that. But doesn't 9 years of marriage count for something? Don't I get a chance to make it right? How do you make it right, Sarah? How do you undo 5 months of betrayal? How do you make me trust you again, when every time you're late coming home, I'll wonder if you're with him? How do you make me forget that while I was lying in bed thinking you were stressed about work, you were fucking someone else? She started crying. I felt nothing. That was the worst part, seeing her cry and feeling absolutely nothing. I ended it, she said, the day you asked me to leave. I called Marcus and told him it was over. I told him I was fighting for my marriage. He understood. He said, I don't want to know what he said. I don't want to hear his name. I don't want to think about him at all. Okay, I'm sorry. I just want you to know that it's done. He's not in my life anymore. Only you, if you'll have me back. I can't answer that right now. When can you answer it? I don't know. She stood there for a long moment, looking at me like she was memorizing my face. Then she said, I'm staying at my sister's. Whenever you're ready to talk, really talk, call me, please, because I can't lose you. I can't lose us. She left. I put my head in my hands and tried to remember how to breathe. That night, I went to a bar, ordered whiskey, and sat there drinking until the bartender asked if I was okay. I told him I was fine. He didn't believe me, but he poured me another drink anyway. A woman sat down next to me, 30-ish, pretty, wearing a business suit like she'd just come from work. She ordered wine, and we sat in silence for a while. Then she said, Rough day? Rough month. Want to talk about it? Not particularly. She smiled. Good. I hate when strangers trauma dump on me at bars. I laughed despite myself. Then why did you ask? Politeness. But I'm glad you declined. Makes it easier to skip to the part where I ask if you want to get out of here. I looked at her. Really looked at her. She was attractive. Available. Interested. I could say yes. Could go home with her. Could do to Sarah what she'd done to me. Get even. Make her feel what I'd felt when she admitted the affair. I'm married, I said. I don't see a ring. I looked down at my hand. I'd taken my wedding ring off last week. Put it in my desk drawer at work. I'd told myself it was because I needed space from everything, including the symbol of our marriage. But maybe it was also this. Permission to move on. I'm married, I said again. Or I was. I'm not sure what I am anymore. Ah, the complicated category. My favorite. Is that what this is? Complicated? Depends. Do you still love her? I didn't answer right away. Did I still love Sarah? Or did I just love the memory of who she used to be? Who we used to be together before everything got so broken? I don't know, I finally said. Then figure that out before you do something you can't take back. She finished her wine, put money on the bar. Good luck with your complicated situation. She left. I sat there for another hour, nursing my drink, thinking about what she'd said, about whether I still loved Sarah, about whether love was enough to rebuild something this broken. I went home alone, lay in our bed that still smelled like her, and for the first time since she'd left, I cried. Not pretty crying, Not the kind of crying you see in movies, but the ugly, gasping, can't breathe kind of crying that comes from somewhere deep and primal. I cried for my marriage, for my wife, for the future I'd imagined that was never going to happen now, for the kids we'd never have, for the life we'd never build, for everything that was lost. The next day, I called a lawyer. Her name was Patricia. She was mid-50s, no nonsense, with an office full of law books and a desk covered in divorce files. She asked me the basic questions. How long had we been married? Did we have kids? Did we own property together? What grounds was I filing on? Adultery, I said. Can you prove it? She admitted it. In writing, text, email, verbally. The night I found out. That's harder to prove in court. Did anyone else hear the conversation? No. Then it's her word against yours. Unless you have other evidence. Photos, messages, credit card statements showing hotel rooms. I haven't looked. She studied me over her reading glasses. Mr. Morrison, I have to ask, are you sure you want to do this? Because divorce is expensive and emotionally draining, and once you start this process, it's very hard to stop. She cheated on me for 5 months. I understand, and I'm sorry. But I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've seen a lot of marriages survive infidelity. Not all of them, but some. Have you considered couples counseling? No. Maybe you should, before you make this decision permanent. She destroyed us. Maybe, or maybe she made a terrible mistake that you can recover from. I'm not saying you should forgive her. I'm not saying what she did was okay. I'm just saying, make sure you want this divorce. Because once these papers are filed, things get ugly fast. And whatever love is left between you two, it tends to die in the legal process. I left her office without filing anything. Drove around for hours. Ended up at the park where Sarah and I had our first date. It was a Sunday afternoon. Families everywhere. Kids on swings, couples walking dogs. All these people living normal, uncomplicated lives while mine had fallen apart. My phone rang. Sarah. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hey, I said. Hey. Her voice was small, tentative. I didn't think you'd answer. Neither did I. How are you? Terrible. You? The same. We sat in silence for a moment. Then she said, I miss you. Don't. I can't help it. I miss everything about you. The way you make coffee too strong. The way you hum when you're working. The way you laugh at terrible jokes. I miss us. There is no us anymore. There could be, if you'd let there be. I watched a couple on a bench feeding ducks. They looked happy, easy, like they'd never hurt each other. How do we come back from this, Sarah? Tell me, because I don't see a way. Therapy, communication, time, work, I'll do whatever it takes. What if I can't trust you again? Then we'll work on trust every day until you can. What if I can never forgive you? Then I'll spend the rest of my life earning your forgiveness. What if I don't want to do the work? What if I just want out? She was quiet for a long time. Then I'll let you go. But not before I've tried everything to make you want to stay. Why? Why fight for this? You wanted out. You had 5 months to leave me, and you stayed. You had 5 months to tell me the truth, and you lied. So why now? Why suddenly fight for a marriage you've been sabotaging? Because I was scared. Because I thought if I told you the truth, you'd leave me. So I stayed in this terrible limbo, where I had you, but I also had him. And I thought I could make it work somehow. But I couldn't. Every night I'd come home and see you and hate myself for what I was doing. That's why I cried in the shower. Not because of work. Because I was destroying the only good thing in my life and I couldn't seem to stop myself. Then why didn't you stop? I don't know. Fear, selfishness, weakness, all of those things. I'm not making excuses, I'm just trying to answer honestly. Do you love him? No. I thought I might at first, but no. It was never about love. It was about feeling wanted. About feeling like someone saw me and chose me right now, not someday. But I know now that was an illusion. Marcus didn't know me. He knew this version of me that I performed at work. You know me. You know my flaws and my fears and all the ugly parts I hide from everyone else. And you chose me anyway. That's what I threw away. That's what I'm trying to get back. I wiped at my eyes. Damn it, I didn't want to cry. I went to see a divorce lawyer today. She made us sound like I'd punched her. Oh. I didn't file anything, but I could. Maybe I should. Please don't. Give me one good reason why not. Because I love you. Because we built a life together. Because 9 years means something. Because I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'm begging you for one anyway. Because, her voice broke. Because I can't imagine my life without you in it. You should have thought about that before you slept with him. I know, you're right. I have no defense. I did a terrible thing. But Dave, please, I'm asking you to try. To give me a chance to prove that this was a mistake, not the end of us. Please. I watched the couple on the bench get up and walk away, holding hands, easy and uncomplicated. I wanted that. I wanted simple. I wanted not to hurt anymore. But I also wanted Sarah. Even after everything, I still wanted her. One session, I heard myself say. One couples therapy session. And if it doesn't help, if I can't see a way forward, then I'm done. I file the papers and we're over. Agreed? Agreed, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Don't thank me yet. We found a therapist, Dr. Rachel Chen. She specialized in infidelity and trauma. Her office had comfortable chairs and soft lighting and a box of tissues on every surface because apparently, people cried a lot there. Our first session was brutal. Dr. Chen asked Sarah to explain the affair start to finish. Every detail. When it started, how long it lasted, what they did, where they went. I sat there listening to my wife detail her betrayal, and I wanted to leave, to never come back, to file those divorce papers and be done with all of this. But I stayed, because even though it hurt, I needed to know, needed to understand exactly what I was trying to forgive. Marcus had pursued her, according to Sarah, started with compliments, then lunches, then staying late to work on projects that probably didn't need both of them there. He'd told her she was brilliant, talented, wasted on her current life. He'd made her feel special. And I let him, Sarah said. I let him make me feel special instead of talking to you about feeling overlooked. I let him become an escape instead of facing the problems in our marriage. That's on me, not him. Me. Were there problems? Dr. Chen asked me. Before the affair? I thought about it. I don't know. I thought we were fine. Happy enough. But maybe I wasn't paying attention. Tell me about that. Not paying attention. I focused on work, on the plan we'd made. Save money, build careers, then start a family. That was always the plan. But somewhere along the way, I stopped checking in to make sure Sarah still wanted that plan. Did you still want it? Dr. Chen asked Sarah. Yes and no. I wanted kids, but I was scared we'd waited too long. I'm 34. That's not old, but it's not young either. And Dave kept saying someday, and I started to feel like someday would never come. Like we'd just keep waiting and postponing until it was too late. Did you tell him this? I tried, but not very hard. I'd mention it and he'd say soon, and I'd let it drop. I should have pushed harder. Should have made him understand how important it was to me. Dr. Chen turned to me. Were you aware of her feelings? Not really. I knew she wanted kids, but I didn't realize she was desperate for them. I thought we had time. And now? Now I don't know if we have anything. We went to therapy every week, sometimes twice a week when things were really bad. Dr. Chen gave us homework, communication exercises, trust-building exercises, ways to reconnect emotionally and physically. Some of it felt stupid, some of it helped. All of it was hard. Sarah moved back home after 6 weeks, into the guest room. Dr. Chen said we needed to rebuild intimacy slowly, not rush back into physical closeness before we'd worked through the emotional damage. So we lived like roommates who were trying to become friends again. We made dinner together, watched TV on opposite ends of the couch, said goodnight at our separate bedroom doors. It was strange and awkward, and sometimes I wanted to give up. But I didn't, because somewhere under all the anger and hurt, I still loved her. I was starting to realize that love didn't just die because someone betrayed you. It got wounded and complicated and painful, but it didn't always die. 3 months into therapy, Sarah said she wanted to show me something, led me to her laptop, opened her email, showed me a message she'd sent to Marcus the day after she'd admitted the affair. Marcus, I can't do this anymore. I love my husband, and I've destroyed my marriage, and I need to try to fix it. Please don't contact me again. I'm sorry for my part in this. I'm sorry for hurting everyone, but I have to go. Goodbye, Sarah. There was a response from him. I understand. I hope you find what you're looking for. For what it's worth, I think he's lucky to have you. Be well. I stared at the emails. Why are you showing me this? Because you asked me once if I'd really ended it, and I said yes, but I don't think you believed me. So I'm showing you proof. It's over. It's been over since that first night. There's only you. There's only been you since then. And before I was an idiot who thought she could have everything. But I learned I can't. I can only have you, if you'll still have me. I looked at her. Really looked at her for the first time in months. She looked tired, older, but also more present somehow. Like she'd come back from wherever she'd been. I'm still so angry at you, I said. I know. Sometimes I look at you, and all I can see is you with him. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix it. I know that too, but I don't want to lose you. The words came out before I could stop them. Even after everything, I don't want to lose us. She started crying. Again. Always crying. But this time, I crossed the distance between us and held her while she fell apart, and it felt different than it had before. Less like comforting a stranger, and more like holding my wife. That night, for the first time in months, I heard her get up at 2 a.m., heard the bathroom door close, heard the water start. But this time, instead of lying in bed pretending not to notice, I got up, opened the bathroom door, found her standing under the water, fully dressed again, crying. May I join you? I asked. She looked at me, surprised, nodded. I got in the shower with her, both of us fully clothed, water streaming over us, held her while she cried. She held me back, and we stood there, two broken people trying to figure out how to be whole again. No more shower crying alone, I said. If you need to fall apart, you fall apart with me, okay? Okay. And no more secrets, no more protecting each other from hard truths. We say what we need to say, even if it hurts. Even if it hurts, she agreed. And we get pregnant. She pulled back to look at me. What? You want kids? I want kids. We've been waiting for someday, and someday almost destroyed us. So we stop waiting. We try. Starting now. If you still want to. You're serious. Completely. I spent months thinking about what I wanted our life to look like if we survived this. And in every version, there were kids. Our kids. A family. Not someday. Soon. She kissed me then. Really kissed me. For the first time since before the affair. And it felt like coming home. The road back wasn't smooth. We had setbacks, fights, moments when I couldn't trust her, and moments when she couldn't forgive herself. There were nights I still lay awake wondering if she was thinking about him. Days she'd come home late, and I'd feel that old panic before remembering she was really at the office. It was slow and messy, and sometimes it felt impossible. But we kept going. Kept showing up to therapy, kept talking, really talking, about all the things we'd been avoiding for years. About my workaholism, about her fear of being forgotten, about how we'd both let the marriage become background noise while we focused on everything else. 6 months after Sarah moved back in, Dr. Chen asked us what we'd learned. That marriage isn't something you achieve, Sarah said. It's something you do, every day. And I stopped doing it. I stopped fighting for us and started taking us for granted. What about you? Dr. Chen asked me. I learned that trust isn't binary. It's not broken or whole. It's something you build and rebuild over and over for the rest of your life. And that's okay. That's what marriage is. Do you trust her now? I looked at Sarah. I'm learning too. Some days more than others. But I think that's normal after something like this. It is, Dr. Chen agreed. And it may always be. The affair will always be part of your story. The question is whether you let it be the end of your story, or just a chapter. A year after I found out about the affair, Sarah got pregnant. We'd been trying for 6 months. When she showed me the positive test, we both cried. Happy tears this time. Healing tears. "We're going to have a baby," she kept saying like she couldn't believe it. "We're going to have a baby," I agreed. She grabbed my hands. "Are you happy? Really happy? Really happy. Are you?" "So happy. And so scared." "Me too." "Promise me something," she said. "Anything. Promise me that if things get hard again, if I get postpartum depression or we're exhausted with a newborn and we start drifting apart, promise me we'll talk about it. We'll face it together instead of separately. We'll never let ourselves get back to that place where I was crying in showers alone. I promise. No more shower crying alone, no more secrets, no more someday. Just us, being honest, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard." Our daughter was born on a Tuesday in March. 7 pounds, 6 ounces with Sarah's eyes and my nose, and the loudest cry the nurses said they'd heard all week. We named her Hope, because that's what she was. Hope that we'd survived. Hope that we were building something better from the wreckage. Hope that love, when you fight for it, when you do the work, when you refuse to give up, can be stronger than the worst mistakes. Sarah was a mess in those first weeks, exhausted and emotional, and sometimes so overwhelmed she'd sit in the nursery at 3 a.m. just watching Hope sleep and crying softly. But she wasn't crying alone anymore. I was there too. Changing diapers and heating bottles and trying to figure out how to be a father. We were in it together. One night, about a month after Hope was born, Sarah said, "I need to tell you something." My stomach dropped. Old instincts. Old fears. "It's nothing bad," she said quickly, seeing my face. I wanted to tell you that I'm grateful. For you. For this. For the fact that you gave me a second chance when I didn't deserve one. You did deserve one. Everyone deserves a second chance. Not everyone. Some mistakes are too big. But you let mine be big and still survivable, and I want you to know I'll never take that for granted. I'll never stop fighting for us. I'll never stop choosing you. Good. Because I'll never stop choosing you either. We're still in therapy, Sarah and I. We go once a month now, just maintenance. Making sure we don't fall back into old patterns. Making sure we're still talking, still connecting, still doing the work. Sometimes people ask me how I forgave her, how I moved past the betrayal. And the truth is, I'm not sure I have. Not completely. Some days I still feel the ghost of that pain. Still wonder what would have happened if she'd never told me. If she'd just kept lying and I'd kept pretending not to notice. Still imagine alternate versions of our life where the affair never happened and everything was simpler. But then I look at Hope, and I look at Sarah, and I realize that this version of our life, messy and scarred and built on the ruins of what came before, this version might actually be better. Because we know now what we didn't know then. That marriage requires work, that love requires presence, that trust is something you build every single day, not something you assume will always be there. The affair will always be part of our story. It changed us, changed our marriage, changed how we move through the world. But it didn't end us. We ended up choosing to fight through it rather than against each other. And that choice, hard as it was, saved us. Sarah doesn't cry in the shower anymore. Or if she does, she lets me know. She comes to me when she's struggling, when she's overwhelmed, when she needs support. And I come to her. We've learned, finally, how to be partners instead of just people who share a house. Is our marriage perfect? No. We still fight, still have hard days, still carry the weight of what happened. But it's ours, built not on the fantasy of forever after, but on the reality of choosing each other again and again, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And maybe that's what love really is. Not the easy beginning when everything is possible, but the hard middle, when you have to decide whether to stay or go, whether to forgive or forget, whether to rebuild or walk away. We chose to rebuild, to stay, to forgive, slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely. Some people will say I was weak for taking her back, that once a cheater, always a cheater, that I should have filed those divorce papers and never looked back. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'll regret this choice someday, but I don't think so, because the woman I'm married to now isn't the same woman who betrayed me. She's someone who faced the worst parts of herself and chose to change. And I'm not the same person either. I'm someone who learned that love isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about showing up even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, and saying, I'm still here. Are you? And every day Sarah says yes. And every day I say yes back. And slowly, painfully, beautifully, we're building something new from what was broken. That's our story. Not the one we imagined when we got married, not the fairy tale we were promised, but real, honest, ours. And on most days, that's enough.